You're listening to Well Within 10, a bite-sized approach to working on your wellness. 10 minutes of wellness thought leadership from experts across the country, hosted by me, founder Stevie Gable Carr. Today we're chatting with Adria Hall, owner of Koko, a Columbus-based sustainable living shop with big dreams to create a world with less waste and more fun. Adria, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, so happy to have you. So what are we going to be chatting about today?
We are going to be talking about 3 things that you can do to become more sustainable.
Wonderful. Well, this episode is powered by Fifth Third Private Bank, bringing you more than 160 years of experience as trusted advisors to high net worth and ultra high net worth individuals and families. With over 36 billion in managed assets and named one of the top 40 wealth management firms in the US by Barron's and one of the world's best private banks by Global Finance in 2020 and 2021. Learn more at wisewellnessguild.com. So Adria, let's talk about the top 3 things you can do to live more sustainably. We know that we are in Earth Month and know that we're all things focused on the environment, but becoming more aware of how we manage our ability to live sustainably has, I'm sure, been a real challenge in the last couple of years with everything kind of heightened. So I'm excited to dive in on this. For the purposes of today, for a broader general audience, let's dive into the top 3 things you can do to live more sustainably.
Yeah. So the first thing that I always encourage everyone to do is a waste audit. So that literally means just like dumpster diving in your own trash, and really just getting an understanding of what waste you are creating. I think you would kind of be surprised. We live in this society in which a lot of it is based upon convenience and single use, and it becomes second nature. You grab a straw, you throw it away. I just read something that plastic shopping bags are only used for an average of 12 minutes. The time that it takes to get from your grocery store to your house, you unload them. And so because it is so second nature, you don't necessarily put a lot of thought into it anymore. So doing a waste audit and just kind of examining what waste you're creating over, say, like a week. What is there a lot of in your trash or your recycling or whatever it is? And I would say whatever you're finding a lot of there, that's where you start. For
Right.
me, in my personal life, it was a few years ago when I did this: paper towels. I have 2 young kiddos. And what I will call a normal husband, not necessarily like a real, eco warrior, just a normal everyday human who uses conventional products. And we were creating a lot of waste with paper towels specifically. And I saw it in the trash. And so I decided that I was going to tackle that. What could I do? So after having been faced with what it was, then I made the plan to kind of change it, using rags, using Swedish dishcloths, using unpaper towels instead, coming up with a system so that my kids could grab those instead of a paper towel. And so, not that we don't ever use paper towels anymore, because I would be lying if I said that. But we have drastically decreased our usage of them due to some of the things that we put in place. And that's all because, I kind of faced that was a waste issue.
Oh, I love that. And the beginning of all wisdom is self-knowledge, right? So you have the ability to be aware of the impact that you're making, make small changes. Progress over perfection, it sounds like, is a really crucial piece of this. And as you kind of mentioned, it's about enrolling the entire family in this journey as well, which is pretty awesome. That's great.
It's almost like you knew that I was going to segue into the second one, which is, using what you have. Um, I think as somebody who sells sustainable products, people are always amazed to hear me say that, because maybe it doesn't feel like a good salesmanship, but that is the truth. There are so many things we as Americans have so much stuff. And just like you mentioned, like linen closets full of old shampoos or conditioners or, cleaning products. And that is because there is so much emphasis and advertising dollars placed behind, you know, making you think that there is something new, something better than what you're currently using. Um, so I think that making a plan to kind of use or give new life to the things that are already in your home. So, for example, that conditioner, maybe it you didn't like the way that it made your hair feel, and so you went out and got a new one, but you still have this full bottle. So you could either give it to somebody who has the hair type, a friend or a family member that has the hair type that would work well for that. You could use it as a shaving cream. There are so many different little things that you can do to use up products. And, that makes it so that that packaging wasn't kind of created in vain. You are still giving it new use. And then, of course, disposing of it appropriately when the time comes.
No, I love that. And, I'd never even thought about, you know, the using conditioner as shaving cream. I do that anyways as a habit sometimes, but you're absolutely right, is getting creative with what types of things can we do. And then when it comes time to disposing of it, being conscious about how we do that. So I love that. That's wonderful. And so, because I know we're getting close on time. So, and the third one, segueing into that.
Yeah. So the third one I think is really surrounding yourself, whether it's physically or digitally, with a community and resources who can kind of support you on your journey. So, platforms for education like Koko, who kind of do, because it's overwhelming, kind of getting started living sustainably or, any sort of wellness journey. And so I think finding, pages or people or platforms who have done the work and done the research for you to kind of break down that information, that aligns with kind of your values, whether you're vegan or very into fair labor. I think finding finding people who can give you information and support your journey along the way is really, really important, because maybe sometimes people in your personal life, aren't on the same journey that you're on. So finding that support and encouragement is really important.
I think that that's so powerful. And I know that that's why we started Wise Wellness Guild, is because we always talk about you're the average of the 5 people around you, and that your diet and nutrition isn't just consisted of, the food that you consume, but also the content and energy that you are surrounding yourself with. And I really do believe that if we can focus on being healthier individuals, that it will allow for us to continue to drive the change that you so you eloquently, kind of put, that, it's these small micro habits that we put into place, and focusing on that and making the decision that this world that we're living in, that it's going to be better for us first and foremost, but second, better for, our future. As a mother, I think about that all the time. We have had a lot of conversations in this ecosystem about, raising a child during this time when there is so much uncertainty. And I think that just, there's a lot of questions around how much can I really impact versus, what some of the larger companies are doing, my impact versus their impact. And my point to that is that I think you would agree with me on, is that it starts with each of us individually, and that collective impact eventually will reach the decision makers that will make the decision that finally, that there is a better way to do this. And the trade-off doesn't have to be, impact profits. Sustainability can be profitable if we really focus on what consumers are wanting and desiring. And if we stop desiring stuff and meaningless things, they'll stop selling it and they'll find a new way to reach us. So it's really, really great. Yeah.
I was just about to say, there's so much power in your dollars, and how you spend them, and supply and demand is such a big part of this equation. And I do agree, there's what people call eco anxiety. That's real, just worrying about all of the different things that are happening around us and climate change and whatnot. And that can be disheartening. It can be scary. And I think by focusing on what you as the individual can do, you at least know that you are doing your piece. There's a lot that needs to be done, obviously, by corporations and politicians and organizations. But you make the change first, and then, like you said, the kind of the collective movement towards the want of that better world will move us forward.
Well, I love that so much. Well, I really appreciate you being here today with us. I'm really excited to continue to follow along what Koko is doing. Make sure you check them out on Instagram. We are getting ready to do a giveaway here this month with Koko. So make sure you check that out. You follow us, like both of us, Wise Wellness Guild and Koko. And if you are interested, we are going to be doing a flash sale starting on the weekend of Earth Day with Koko on shop.wisewellnessguild.com. We are just really, truly honored to have such an incredible partner leading this change. It is the hard work. It is the thing that nobody has really cracked yet, but everybody is working really hard to find a way to engage the masses, and Koko is truly leading in this space, not only, like I'd mentioned before, from a business-to-business consultation standpoint, but also just really making being more sustainable a very delightful, enjoyable experience. And so thanks so much again. We look forward to connecting in the future, and make sure you check out wisewellnessguild.com to learn more.
Yes, thank you.
You've been listening to Well Within 10, a bite-sized approach to working on your wellness. You can find more episodes wherever you get your podcasts.